Alright, hey guys, so today I just wanted to quickly go over two new bundles over at Fanatical. They used to be known as Bundle Stars, but they've been releasing some good stuff lately. First off, there's the Nemesis 4 bundle, which I'll get to in a second. There's also the Discovery Pick and Mix bundle, which allows you to pick which games you want. You can get 5 games for $1.50, or 10 games for $2.50, or 20 games for $4. It's kind of cool, allowing you to just pick which games you're interested in, and if you don't care about the others, you don't have to get the others. Unfortunately, most of these games are pretty low in, so I'm not going to be covering this bundle too much. The Nemesis 4 bundle was pretty surprising though, because there's a lot of good stuff here that you probably never heard of, but they look like some pretty quality games. It's set up very similar to Humble Bundle. The first tier is $1, the second tier is $5, and then the third tier is $10. So just going up, the $1 tier includes some good stuff. From the Depths is a cool like voxel type shipbuilding game. You can build like various naval ships and airships and all sorts of good stuff, and then you send them to war, and it's kind of neat watching these like massive ships like fight each other and get destroyed. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, so that's a pretty cool looking game. The next game, Damned, this is like a hide-and-seek multiplayer game where one person plays as the monster and the other 4 people are the survivors who try to hide, so it's kind of like a multiplayer horror game. So I'll just skip through that one. Marooners is very similar to Mario Party, I guess. There's a bunch of little mini-games and you play online with other people. It's pretty fun. I played it on my channel fairly recently, so if you guys want to check out my video, you can. I played with a couple friends of mine. So that was pretty fun. And then 140, this is a minimalistic rhythm platformer. It's very, very basic, but I really enjoy games like this, platformers that are just very simple and have a nice like soundtrack. So yep, that's 140. So for $1, those 4 games I would definitely say are worth it. That's for sure, especially for From the Depths and 140. I think those are pretty good games. So the first tier is $1, and then the second tier is where the games look like really interesting in my opinion. So Valley is like a first person, I guess that you would call it like a 3D platformer, but I mean the game is absolutely beautiful. You run like super fast. I guess you could call it like a parkour type game, but you're running from place to place, and you have like some sort of crazy suit that lets you like defy gravity, and you can like jump super far. I think you can double jump. And it's just really neat looking, just being able to like fly through the air at fast speeds, especially since the game like looks like gorgeous in my opinion. It looks amazing. Might have to play this on my channel in the near future. Stasis, let's see, it's a point and click sci-fi horror adventure game. So if you're into point and click games, you might really enjoy this. There's a lot of puzzles. It does say that there's some very challenging puzzles, so if you're into adventure games, you might really like this. If you're into sci-fi themes, it looks very interesting. The next game, Bohemian Killing. Alright, I don't know a whole lot about this, but I'm pretty sure this is some sort of courtroom type drama simulator. So you're like trying to solve some sort of case, or I'm not sure if you're trying to solve it or if you're trying to like defend yourself, but you like listen to various testimonials and so forth. So that's pretty interesting, although I probably wouldn't be playing that one. Leith, I think that's how you say Leith? Leth? I don't know. Not sure how to pronounce this one. This is a first-person adventure game with some survivor horror elements, and you have some sort of like psychokinesis powers. So it's like an adventure game. There's various puzzles. You can pick things up. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Half-Life doing that. And yeah, kind of interesting. And it has like has some horror elements to it. So this game might be really fun, at least in my opinion. Project Remedium. So this game looked very, very interesting. Basically, it's a first-person shooter, but you are a nanobot who is trying to cure a kid. So you play within his body and you're trying to fight off like, I think some sort of virus or illness or something. But as you can see, you're inside the boy's body. And I think that's really cool. It's really neat. It reminds me of, completely forgot, but there used to be like a movie, there was like an old cartoon movie about being in some guy's body. I completely forgot what it was called, but it was really cool. But this looks interesting. Definitely looks fun. and it's a first-person shooter, so I'm sure it's enjoyable. The Uncertain Episode 1, I think this is another like adventure game, if I'm not mistaken. What does it say here? It's an episodic story-driven adventure game. So this looks like another like sci-fi type adventure game. So it's probably like a bunch of puzzles, probably a good story. I know a lot of people are into adventure games. I'm not into them as much, but some of them do have some great stories, and this one looks rather interesting. Looks like it's about robots in a post-apocalyptic world. So that's cool. And then there's Steamberg. I don't know too much about this. It says it's a puzzle game. At first I thought it was a tower defense game, but something about building like Tesla coils and killing robots. Interesting. And the next one, Guardians of Ember. This is it says it's a massively multiplayer like action RPG. Looks really cool from the trailers. It does have mixed reviews on Steam, so I'm not really sure how that plays out. There might be a lot of microtransactions. I'm not entirely sure. You never really know with MMOs. Sometimes they do the microtransactions very poorly. But it looks fun if you're looking for an action RPG. I would prefer, like I would suggest playing Path of Exile if you're looking for something like this, but this one looks more like community oriented, so you're like playing with a bunch of other people. So that looks interesting. Might be a game I check out in the future. And then the last tier, which is $10, and just keep in mind, from $5 to $10, that means each of these games are $2.50 each, which is kind of a lot. But I looked through these, both of these are normally priced at $20, and they both have like 90% positive reviews. So these are some pretty good games. This is a, what would you call this? A cyberpunk side-scrolling like stealth shooter, I guess, or a stealth adventure game. From the reviews I've read, this game has a really good story and a great like cyberpunk or steampunk feel to it. I don't know the difference, but it looked really good, so I decided to pick this one up. Also, it has some like shooting elements, so there's like some bullet hell parts. Let me just scroll back a little bit, like this. So there's like different gameplay elements thrown in, some melee combat, some stealth features. Looks interesting, so yeah, I might have to try this one out as well. It's a story-driven, action, stealth, side-scrolling RPG with a focus on exploration and a new vision of cyberspace. All right, looks pretty cool. Check it out on Steam. You'll see that it has some very high reviews. And then the Sexy Brutale. I don't really know a whole lot about this, but apparently there's a bunch of characters getting murdered, and you have to basically watch them and try to prevent them from getting murdered, or like solve like the murder mysteries. I know a lot of people like games like this, like murder mystery type games like The Ship. So this looks interesting. It does have overwhelmingly positive, I'm pretty sure. I think it has 95% positive, so I don't really know a whole lot about it. The trailer, I have no idea what's going on, but it looks interesting to say the least. So that's all the games in this bundle. I just wanted to quickly go over it, and maybe you can find something that you might enjoy. And again, I mean, the $5 tier, I would say it's definitely worth it if you're missing all the games. And some of the games just look very entertaining to me, especially Valley and maybe Stasis and Project Remedium, the one where you're going inside the boy's body. I think these are like just really unique and interesting little indie games that are probably worth picking up. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Again, you can pay $1, $5, or $10 for this one, and the $1 tier is probably definitely worth picking up. These games do include trading cards and so forth. And also, you might want to just quickly browse over the pick and mix bundle, see if you can find any games that look interesting if you're looking for something to play. So that's all I have to say in this video. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.